In the webinar you're about to watch, we dove specifically into new home sales. If you are somebody that works for a builder or works in new home sales directly, you're gonna wanna take a look at this because we dive into exactly what you're experiencing. What are the issues? What are the concerns? What are some of the things that you are experiencing right now? And how does video be a part of that solution to help you get over that hump and get back to the numbers and the process that you wanna see? Take a look.
Hey, welcome everybody. Good morning. So excited that you are here. Thrilled that I get to be here working with all of you. It is such a pleasure. So thank you for carving out a little bit of time on this Wednesday morning. My name is Kevin Andrews here at BombBomb, and I'm excited to talk specifically to you. It's not often I get to do webinars that are really specific to one industry or one problem or one pain that people are experiencing. And guess what? That's what we get to do today. So thank you for carving out some time and jumping in this morning. Please jump in and throw some stuff in chat, throw some things in Q&A. Always love to see who's here, what questions you have. We always want these to be a conversation and not just a talking head for 30 minutes. So please feel free to jump in, ask questions as we maybe hit on some things that you're feeling or you're experiencing in your business right now. Without further ado, we've got 30 minutes and I want to make sure that I respect your time and stick to that. So just know a couple of quick questions here. One, first and foremost, we will send a recording of this out. So know that you will get a follow-up with the recording. Do not miss out on that. If maybe we breeze through something or go something a little quicker than you were expecting, we will send that recording so that you've got that to reference, okay? And last but not least, I will always leave some time for questions. So if we don't get to answer yours live when you put it in, we will answer those questions at the end of the webinar as well. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump over here, and I want to show you what we're talking about. Now, when we sent the invite out, obviously this is we wanted to challenge you with the title of this webinar. So incentives are winning and costing you deals. How many of you out there are offering more incentives than you typically have for your sales? Yeah, I see a couple of people kind of raising their hands and saying yes. Yeah, that's a problem. It's a thing that we're seeing a lot. Now, incentives could be a wonderful thing. So I'm not here, this is not to talk badly about incentives, but we do want to discuss and show you what that may be doing from a much broader spectrum. How are we going to do that? Well, here is our agenda today. So first and foremost, we want to talk about how incentives and buyer confidence are tied together. Really, really important that our buyers feel confident in us to make the right decision, as well as we have a long process when we are building a new home. So we want them to understand that this is what we're setting ourselves up with when we offer these incentives early on in the process as well. Number two, how video solves some of these gaps that you may be experiencing with buyer confidence when you are offering these incentives. And third, but definitely not least, we are going to give you from some very specific moments, some really strategic moments where you can have video included in your process to help build that buyer confidence. So let's jump in and talk about this a little bit further. Buyer confidence. What's different about the buyer's perspective, what buyers are going through today versus what they maybe were going through a year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever that may be? What's interesting about this is it's probably very on par with what you're experiencing and what you're seeing. There's a buyer's dilemma right now that's a couple of reasons, but first and foremost, one of the things that I want you to think about is if we take ourselves out of our shoes and what we are experiencing and going, we're not getting as many leads, we're not seeing as many people come in, we don't have as many opportunities. First off, if you are seeing that, you are not alone. I actually got to attend the Jeff Shore Summit out in San Diego. Jeff Shore is an amazing coach within your space. I know a lot of you are very familiar with his name. And there was hundreds and hundreds of people representing hundreds of home builders across the country experiencing exactly what you are seeing. The numbers were lower than we expect. Because we're not getting as much lead volume as many people into our models. Guess what? We're not selling as many homes as we were hoping. And so this hurts. It's a pain, but what is causing some of that? Well, first and foremost, I want you to look at that sentence below the title. We are seeing now with AI, with social media, with the internet, that buyers are being able to research and learn so much more before they ever come into our doors. 90% of the buying decision actually happens before the buyer even contacts the builder or contacts you directly or walks into a model. Now, this can be a really wonderful thing because they're coming in way more informed. They're coming in much further in the process. However, it also is not including us in that trust building portion. It's not including us in helping them answer questions. So this is where the first sort of red flag is coming up from the incentives. We heard time and time again at the Jeff Shore Summit that Buyers are coming in and immediately asking, what are the prices? What are the deals? What incentives do you have to offer? Now, that can be a really good conversation, but it's not where we want to start. You can see there with those other stats, 60% of production builders are using rate buy downs to secure sales right now. So that conversation is coming up more and more rapidly. However, the really negative part, the detrimental part of this is 6.5 to 12% of home sales price is being spent funding these buy downs and other incentives. This is where you are starting to really see some of this gap. Not only do we may not have as many leads coming in, but now the per sale price, the per sale profit that we are seeing come in is being cut into because we are having to use these buy downs to get people across the line. So because buyers are able to go get so much more information, they're coming in and we're having the price conversation before the solution conversation, before the pain conversation, before the home, before the what are you needing? And when we just follow their lead on incentives, now we're talking about raising, now we are cutting into the amount that we can profit from each home sale. Some of the negative effects that we're seeing of what's going on with this here is red flags. So not only are buyers, we all want to save money. Every buyer that goes in wants a better deal, wants to save a little bit more money, but we are learning some interesting things from a psychological standpoint that are also coming from this. It's not just that your profit margin is getting cut into because of these rate buy downs, because of these incentives that we're offering. We're also sort of signaling to buyers some red flags. You can see there, when we open with a rate down, before we've gone into where is the value for them in this home, what are you needing, why are we having this conversation in the first place, it immediately starts to trigger something psychologically in them that starts to ask some questions. They start to go, wait a second, is this home actually worth this amount of money? Have they just been overselling a lot of people around and this is actually what it's worth because they were willing to offer this so easily? What's wrong with this home? What sort of question marks do I need to be asking that I'm not asking right now? And why are they so willing to discount this right away? What's interesting is as they start to ask those questions, now we have detracted from the value and we've introduced question marks. We've introduced some insecurity in their confidence. And this is what causes buyers to wait. This is when they go, okay, well, if they're willing to offer me this deal really easily and I didn't even have to ask for it or jump in and push for any of these things, who's to say they're not just going to offer something better in a month, 2 months, 6 months? It's also interesting because it's also now starting to downgrade the value, the perceived value of your homes, which is the last thing we want to do. We don't want people that have already bought to feel like, well, I didn't get a good deal and now they're upset. We don't want future buyers to think, well, geez, they're willing to just throw all these deals out all the time. Here's a smaller example, but something that I have directly experienced on this front. I want to look at clothes and I want to look at sporting goods and things like that. And I've signed up for mailing lists from different companies. It blows my mind how often I get emails with discounts. There's one company that I get emails from at least daily with a jump in for 50% off. Come look at these 60% off deals. What that triggers to me in my brain is I am never going to walk in that store and buy something full price. Why? Because I know a discount is waiting for me in my inbox at home. I know that something else is going to be thrown my way. So if it's full price now, why would I pay that when I know I'll have an opportunity soon? So they've trained me to look for the discount rather than to see the value in what they offer. That is what we want to avoid, but that is what people are experiencing when they directly see those incentives, and that's the first thing that they're fed up. So not only are we cutting into our profit margin, but we're also creating doubt in buyers and actually causing them to wait. And I think this is an interesting thing as we start to jump into what we do need to build, how video can help in these 3 moments specifically, is we need to start to ask ourselves, yes, we got that deal across the line. Maybe we did get a deal across because of the incentive or the rate buy down that we offered. However, are we actually costing ourselves more money by offering these so quickly and easily? Or is that one deal worth it? So when you stop to think, buyer confidence, when we take the incentives out of the equation, when you are a buyer and you're going in to buy anything, what is the number one thing you need to establish in order to go, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and move forward with that process? Think about it for a second. I'll give you a second to think because I get a lot of answers when I do ask this question to a lot of different people. It doesn't matter the industry. It doesn't matter where we are. This question of what is the most important thing a buyer needs to see to feel confident with you gets a lot of answers. Ultimately, a lot of those answers always come back to this: trust. 88% of customers say that trust is a deal breaker when choosing a brand. If they don't trust this brand, if they don't trust the people that they are working with, they're not going to move forward. You know what else is really, really interesting and really fascinating? 60% of people say, literally say, and fill out in surveys that I would buy from a brand I trust, even if it's not the cheapest option. That to me right there goes, incentives are wonderful. They are good to have in our back pocket. They're great to offer up when it's a make or break part of this decision-making process. However, if we are not establishing the value and we are not solving what this person needs with the home, then it doesn't matter how much we discount it. That is not going to be the thing that helps them move forward with us and decide with us. This is what we're missing when we jump into incentives so quickly. Buyer confidence is a huge thing in home sales. Why? Because this is the biggest purchase that most people will ever make in their lives. Unless they're running big companies or buying, commercial space or do things like that, they will never spend more on something than they spend on the house that they are buying. And if they don't feel confident in that, they're not going to move forward. Video gives you the opportunity to start to build that confidence and build that trust. Why? Because what are the main factors of trust? It's, yeah, we need to know expertise. We need to know somebody that is competent and understands what they're talking about. But how often do you just build that really initial gut reaction with somebody and go, yeah, I feel like I can trust this person. I may not be tangible. I may not be able to put words to it, but there's something I feel about this person that helps me trust them. That is what video allows. Video is not this magic bullet, but it's the caveat that allows your people to get their faces in front, build that relationship, and build that trust that is needed to build the buyer confidence so we're not relying on incentives. You can see some of the stats there directly from Pacesetter Homes. When they started using it in their initial lead responses, they had a 38% increase in appointment hold rate, right? 40% fewer no-shows because they are building that trust. They are connecting with person. It's way harder to no-show a person that I understand versus just a name that I see or a company that I know. I think there's a great quote here from Andy Paul that I think is really fun before we jump into our video playbook and how you can really start to implement this. You can pitch someone on why they should trust you. You can't pitch someone, on why they should trust you. You can't explain to someone why they should build a relationship with you. They have to experience you. That's what BOM and video allow, is their opportunity to experience your people, experience the values that you've created as a company, as a home builder. If I'm going to jump in and go, I trust you with all of this money, and I trust you to build this home the way that you are saying, man, I need to experience that. I need to understand that. I'm not going to do that just off of promises. I need to have that feeling that this is the company I want to move forward with. So how do we start to build that directly into our process? Well, that's where this video playbook is going to come into play. Now, I'm going to show you this slide first because I think it's really great for you to understand as a home builder, regardless of what role you may hold within the company. If you're an OSC, if you are a direct salesperson, if you're in a model home, if you're managing a sales team, video can fit anywhere in your cycle. There's a million different places, right? So you can see directly from the lead generation side all the way to the move-in and the warranty and how do we maintain that relationship and get referrals. The entire life cycle has plenty of opportunities for video. However, with the conversation we're having today directly around incentives, we want to make sure that incentives are usually brought in early in the process because they're the decision-making part of it. So what I want to show you here is, first example, I'm going to give you 3 direct moments and 3 direct examples that you can start to use as you're looking into this. The first one here is a pre-appointment video. So people can come from a lot of different places before they show up for an appointment. A lot of times it could be, oh, I just submitted something online, or I've given you my information. I'm showing you that I am interested. Maybe you're just seeing that they're looking at your homes on your website. It doesn't matter. If they've scheduled an appointment to come into one of your models, meet with one of your sales reps, anything before that appointment, that's where this is going to fall. Why is this a problem? Well, there's kind of low appointment confirmations. We see industry-wide in new home sales that showing up for appointments are actually lower than some other industries. Why? Here's my theory from talking with a lot of people in a lot of sales. This is a big purchase. There's a lot of pressure on this. The last thing people want to do is walk into a situation where they're going to be pushed into something that they are not ready to make a decision on. And unfortunately, whether we like it or not, salespeople still have this reputation of they're going to push me in a direction. When you look at trust barometers and trust metrics over a lot of different industries, salespeople are very low on that as far as they're universally trusted. They don't want to show up to a meeting where they're going to be pushed or forced to make decisions they are not ready to make. That's really uncomfortable. So why does the video help in this? Well, because it makes you a real person. It humanizes this. It starts to break through that perception of what this salesperson is going to be like and go, oh my gosh, they're not like that. John doesn't feel that way. Kathy doesn't feel that way. I can go talk with them. That doesn't feel like it's nerve-wracking or there's a lot of pressure. So now I start to feel like I can trust this person. I can go in and they actually do want to help me. They're not going to pressure me into something that I'm not ready for. So take a look at this example, and then we'll show you 3 elements of this video that are really impactful for how you build trust and how you can navigate that.
Russell, hey, this is Kyle Hubbard with Ryan Homes here at South Peak. Hope you're doing well, having a great day. Just wanted to reach out to introduce myself and to confirm your appointment for tomorrow at 5 p.m. My partner Sharon and I are really excited to be kicking off South Peak tomorrow. We're excited to meet you, see what we can do to help with your home search. So if you need anything at all here prior to your visit, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. And we really look forward to meeting you tomorrow. Thanks, Russell.
The first thing that I hope you notice in that video is how simple and authentic it is. This video does not need to be fancy. None of these videos are meant to be highly produced, super marketed, really branded. No, it's all about how do I just be as human? How do I be as honest to me as possible? Now you can see there some of those tips for building trust within this step. First and foremost, personalize. You saw it here. I'll even go back to show you kind of the preview of this video so you can see what it shows like there in the email. He's holding up the recipient's name. Why is that important? Well, nobody wants to get spam content. In fact, if we feel like this is content that's being blasted out to everybody, it actually detracts from the trust we're building versus increasing the trust. So us visually personalizing that video is a great way to show them, hey, this is just for you. You don't need to worry. I promise you I'm not spamming you and sending this out to a bunch of different people. I'm going to go ahead and pause this so we can look at these bullet points down here. But personalizing is a really important thing so that they know this is for me. There is value for me. Here's why I need to follow up. The second piece there is deleting doubt, right? Confirm all of the details. I know, especially if you're building up a new community. My wife's actually an interior designer and goes out to new models all the time. Some of the times they are so new, they don't show up on Google Maps or they don't show up in a phone. Oh, shoot, I don't know where to go is a great excuse to not show up for that appointment. So let's delete the doubt. Let's provide that information. Where are they meeting? What time are we meeting? All of those pieces of information create more confidence that I know where I'm going. I know what we're going to be talking about, and I can release and take a breath and feel confident in this meeting. I'm going to show because I've released those pieces. The last piece here is a really interesting one that I love, and I think it's really important for a lot of different pieces, but especially when we're talking about a decision like this, an appointment where we know people aren't showing. This idea of reciprocity. Reciprocity essentially is if I put some energy in, and I expect you to put some energy in because you're seeing what I'm bringing in, then we are so much more likely to show up and have a beneficial thing. So if I put something in, you are more likely to put some energy in. So the way I like to use this in a lot of these videos is, hey, here's what I am preparing for the meeting. I'm really excited because that's showing the value of what they're going to learn, what they're going to get from this meeting. If you could prepare X, Y, and Z, that would make sure that we can have a really beneficial time for you. Sometimes it's as simple as, are you more of a coffee or a tea person? Let me know so I can have that ready for you. Maybe it's narrow down, if you could come in with your list, you talk with your partner about your top 3 non-negotiables for your next home. We have to have these 3 things. Oh my gosh, how much more valuable would that be for you when they walk in the door to understand these are the things that I need to find. These are the solutions that I need to provide. When you've got that list, now they've put some energy into it, they're more likely to show up. You've told them the value you are going to bring to the meeting. That is going to help people show up more confidently. So now we've increased our chances. We've built that trust. We've connected with them face to face. And we've all put something into this appointment to make sure it's going to be as beneficial as possible. So that is the pre-appointment video. Number 1, great way to start to build that relationship trust. Insert yourself in the conversation before the meeting to help make sure that you can be as impactful as possible. Now, the second step here, the second moment that could be amazingly impactful is the follow-up, right? The post-appointment follow-up. How often do we have a meeting with somebody, it goes well, and then, oh shoot, somebody else walks in, we get distracted, and we don't keep the conversation going? I've said this for years, that the point of a video is not just to get a video played. That's wonderful because they're engaging with us and seeing us. But the point of a video, the point of any piece of communication is to start a conversation. Somebody coming in, watching a video, meeting with us once, and disappearing is not helpful. That's not getting us to where we need to with selling more homes. It's not getting them to where they need to with finding the home that solves for them. So we need to keep that conversation going and following up with a post appointment. So often I see these text follow-ups of like, thanks so much. It was so nice to meet you guys. Let me know when I can help. We're not going to get responses on that. We are not clear with what they need to respond to. It's vague. It's not personalized. People see through that content on a very regular basis. So with that in mind, let's take a look at this video and let's see how video can potentially make that more impactful for us so that we're having a better follow-up experience for them.
Folks, it's Howard Daniels at Liberty Ridge in Horsham, PA. Feel free to reach out to me anytime if you have any questions or if you'd like to set up another appointment to meet with me. Grant, it was great meeting you, and I look forward to helping you with your new home. Bye-bye.
Again, simple, authentic, real. It's just a human. What's so important in this, though, is some of those 3 bullet points that you see down there. How do we build trust? 1, emotional recall. We need to bring some emotion back into them. So that example that I just played for you doesn't directly show this. Maybe they recognize the actual office because they probably saw it in the model home. But what I recommend doing is using this, your phone. How do we use this when we're in the model home? Well, guess what? You're in the home that they liked. You're on site. Grab your phone and go record this video in the location of one of those most important places. Maybe it was the open floor plan. Maybe it was the primary suite. I know for me, when I walk into a lot of homes, I live in an old home, the primary closet. Oh my gosh, I lust after a giant closet that I can have all of my stuff in that's attached to my room. I don't have that right now. So the ability for you to recall emotionally and show them that beneficial piece of the home is going to bring them back to, oh, shoot, that's the dream. That's what I want. And here's why we want to get there. The second piece here is the personal connection. It's really important for you to bring some of the conversation back in. Why? 1, it shows that you were listening and you were actually paying attention during the meeting and you didn't forget those things. But 2, it also allows you to see the fact that, oh my gosh, I can actually get some of my answers, my questions answered. A lot of times I will see that people will discuss the thing that they talked about. Maybe they talk about one of their kids or a funny story. Bring in some personal elements. We connect with people that we can relate to. That's so vital and so important when you're thinking through these pieces. The last piece there is a clear CTA. You heard me say early on, hey, just let me know how I can help, is never going to get a response because people don't know what answer you want and how you want it. So 2 of the most important things that I recommend putting in this video is, what do I want next and how do I want you to provide it? So rather than say, yeah, you call, email, text me, let me know when we can meet again, and really excited to help you with this next step. Now I've given them too many options of what to answer. Instead, we want to give them a really specific thing. Hey, is Tuesday or Wednesday better for me to follow up with you in order to answer X question? So you're giving them a very specific thing. I need Tuesday or Wednesday. Hey, email me back and let me know this answer. Hey, call me and let me know this answer. Give one specific way and one specific question. That's how we keep the conversation going. We don't want to let that just fall to the wayside. We want to be really, really clear with our CTA. And for those of you that have maybe never heard the acronym CTA, that's a call to action. What am I asking that person to do when I send this piece of communication out? So the third moment, the last moment that I want to touch on here real quickly, because I think it could be really, really impactful for a lot of you, and I see it be impactful with so many of the home builders that I work with on a daily basis, is a progress and project update. Now, I know this is a little bit deeper into the process. Maybe this is a little bit past the incentive piece, but this is an amazing piece of how you continue to maintain the trust that you've built with your clients. We all know the building process is a long one, right? I mean, it's the average that we see across the country is 6 to 9 months is the average, dig to actual delivery process there. So how do we maintain that trust with our clients so that they don't get upset, they're not getting frustrated? Give them regular updates and use video as a wonderful way to do that. You can see it. Even some builders that I've worked with that say, oh yeah, we send these on a regular basis. We hear that they just send out text updates. Here's a couple of bullet points. Well, if I'm not somebody who's been in construction, I may not understand what half of those things mean. I may not know framing, wiring, plumbing. I may not know insulation. Some of these terms that I'm using are more common, but there are very specific moments in the build that people may not understand. How do we bring the emotional recall to let them see and get excited and build that excitement throughout this build process? We give them these updates with video. If you have the ability to go out to the home, that's an amazing opportunity for you to do it. Here's an example of a way one of our reps did that.
Hey guys, happy Sunday. I just wanted to do a quick run through of your house today, as I know it's been a little bit of time. I was out last week. I'm going to flip you around and you can see exterior of the house. They have been working on watering that sod for you so that it is ready to go for when you guys move in. Should start greening up any day.
All right, I'm not going to make you watch the entire walkthrough of this home because I think you get the idea. Let's look at some of these bullet points though, because there are some key things that BombBomb brings to the table and ways you can send this video that really, really help. So first and foremost, relationship driven. Start with you. I know sometimes it's uncomfortable being on video. I promise if you feel that way, you're not the only one. But we want them to remember, oh yeah, it's Kevin. I trust him. Oh yeah, it's Catherine. I trust her. She's somebody that I can follow and trust. So start with you. One of the beautiful things that BombBomb has in our mobile app is that you can flip the camera from the forward facing to the external facing and outward facing camera. So that way you can start on you, flip, and then walk, just like you saw in the example that I just showed you there. 2, what are some of the new dream highlights? What are the things that we offer in our mobile app, as well as the ability to pause and restart your video? Don't feel like you have to send a 10 to 15-minute video walking through every aspect of the home. Pick out 3 or 4 things that are the highlights. Maybe it's reflecting back to the things that they were most excited about. Maybe it's just, here's the biggest changes since the last update that I sent you, and go record those. You can pause, walk up to the new place, start recording again, and BombBomb automatically sews that into one video. But the beauty of this is it allows somebody to have a 3-minute video that shows them the highlights of what they need to see. We're respecting their time, respecting the effort that they need to put in versus going, here's a 15-minute video, watch the whole thing. Maybe they're excited enough because they're invested enough, but it's hard to get people to watch a 10 or 15-minute video. So this is how you're going to increase your chances of getting people to actually click play and watch. And the third one that I wanted to touch on here is removing anxiety. I love this. In her video, she talks about, hey, we've just started watering the grass really well. It should be greened up by the time that we close, so you have beautiful green sod to walk into. If you don't address that, they're going to see the brown grass and go, oh shoot, is the grass dying? What's happening? Why does it look like that? No, let's be preemptive. Let's answer those questions before they've been asked. That's how we start to build that confidence as the buyer continues through the process. There's a wonderful story from one of our builders, and I know we've only got 1 or 2 minutes left, so I'm going to tell this, and then we'll finish up with kind of a summary of everything we've covered this morning. One of our salespeople goes to homes and does videos like this, but he loves this specific moment where we've got the foundation in, we've got framing up, and so everything feels raw. What's beautiful is he works with his clients and figures out who's going to be in what room, and he'll actually go up and spray paint the kid's room or the kid's name or the person's name on the cement slab in that room. He basically marks it and claims it for them. When he sends that to the clients, they love showing it to their kids because their kids start to get so excited, like, oh my gosh, that's going to be my room, and my name will forever be spray painted on that cement. That's a really cool, fun, emotional way to do that. Now, do you have to do that? No, but it's a great example of a way to build that emotional connection and connect them with the home directly. So I'm going to show you this next slide of just some snapshots. I want you to see these are real people. These are real humans, just like you, that are just putting themselves out there, connecting with their clients in a real way. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Authentic is better than perfect every single time. So never be hesitant to feel like, okay, I can just be me. I can go do this regardless of where I'm at. If I look perfect today, maybe I'm feeling a little sick and stuffy, that's okay. People want to see you. They want to connect with you. That's the most important piece. So to sum all of this up, incentives are not always a problem, but the amount that they're being led with right now is causing problems. How do we avoid that? Well, if you look at our 3 situations here, the opening move, the appointment follow-up, and the progress update, you can see if we lead with incentives, here's the problem. Here's what we're happening. If we lead with value, here's the difference and what we're going to cause with that. Instead of just leading with a promotion, now we're giving personal answers to their questions. Instead of don't lose out on these deals, trying to create urgency there, it's now we're connecting on what you established at the appointment and answering questions of showing how this home solves the next step in their life. And then we've got those 3 bullet points there of what we covered on each one of those videos. That opening move, make sure you personalize, delete the doubt, add some reciprocity in there so you both invest, improve your appointment show rate. Use some emotional recall in that appointment follow-up. Show that you are actively listening, follow up with those things, and then talk about clear next steps in order to provide that trust and let them know I'm in this process with you and I'm going to help you control it. I'm not going to rely on you to carry the whole thing. And then with the progress update, make sure that it's relationship driven. Make sure you're connecting with them with your face. Make sure you're showing them the highlights of the new home and removing the anxiety of them maybe not knowing, why does it look this way? What are the question marks there? Last but certainly not least, I'm going to leave you with this quote from Jeff Shore that I think is a beautiful sort of summary of how video can be impactful. Face-to-face communication creates a space for warmth, sincerity, and personal connection that fosters the trust you need to build relationships. That's what we need more of. When people don't show up in the appointment, we can't get that face-to-face. When they're doing 90% of their homework at home, we don't have the face-to-face opportunity. Video gives us the ability to build that face-to-face connection, to build the sincerity, the warmth, the connection that really is needed so that we can build the actual trust and the actual relationship that allows us to sell not on incentives, not on price, not on discounts and deals, but on us, on the value that we're going to provide, on the value that this next home will provide in their lives. So thank you all for being here today. I really, really appreciate it. It's been an honor to walk you through this. Hopefully this doesn't bring up, brand new things, but reinforces some of the things maybe you're feeling as struggles right now and gives you some answers on how video could be a solution for you. We here at BombBomb are all about, we want to help you. We want to support you. So if you have any questions, please send an email to hello@bombbomb.com. That email comes directly to me. I would love to make sure that I help you get set up so that we can make sure that you're connected with a salesperson, connected with somebody to ask questions if you don't have BombBomb. If you do have BombBomb and need help, we are always here to support you. So hello@bombbomb.com and support.bombbomb.com are great emails that you can send for us to be able to support you and make sure that you're seeing the best success, you have the best tips, you have the best tricks, all the things that you need. We'll be sending this recording out momentarily, probably in the next day or two. Give us a minute to put that email together. But thank you again for being a part of this. It's been an honor to walk you through this. We are honored to have you as part of the BombBomb family, and we can't thank you enough for trusting us to continue to guide you through how does video fit in your workflow, specifically as somebody that's in the new home sales industry, in the construction industry. You guys have a lot of specific complexities, and man, the more we work with you all, the more we get to know those, and the more we are just honored that you trust us in that process. So thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday, and we can't wait to see you soon. We'll definitely be offering more of these webinars, so keep your eyes open for those emails, okay? All right, thank you, everybody. We will talk to you soon, and we'll see you next month.